Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. Over there's Diamond Dave Damone. This is the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today we are finally wrapping up the first season of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. This is episode 6, The Last Time. I do not like the name of that title, if I'm honest, folks. It makes me a little bit nervous for what we might be in for. There's got to be a second season with Rick and Michonne, right? I guess we'll find out.
Right? There's gotta be. Look, it could be the last time for a lot of things. Last 2 times, your boy Oak was on the road, couldn't make it here for the reactions with these gentlemen. Super pumped to be here for the finale of this first season. I know it's going to be a banger.
Hey, I'll say these 5 episodes have been phenomenal. Love having Denai and Andy back. I am a little nervous, not in how they're going to tell the story, but a little nervous of what the future is for these 2 characters. So fingers crossed that I don't know. I don't know. Let's go!
I remember it all. Who we were, who we are now.
Oh,
My name is Michonne.
That's not good.
I lost someone years ago.
Next thing you know.
Got their plan.
People are a resource.
I know how to build things and I know how to burn things.
You tried to escape 4 times. Why are you here?
I was like, what are we reaching for here?
Is someone you love, Ate? Do you still love me?
Always.
I've seen enough horror movies to know what happens after that.
Sounds simple, right? We go in, you get the briefing, I get the dossier she left behind. We bring what we know to the city, then go home. It's never that simple.
Almost reminds me of
Sergeant
Alexandria.
Major Rick Grimes. He said I didn't need to be scared. That it was just the burning.
Man, they did a lot of misdirection with that. You could think that they're setting up for some foreshadowing. You could think that setting up for success.
Yeah, I just can't imagine how this series ends on this last episode.
You're really here.
What happened?
It was turbulence. We went low to get out of it. We were struck by lightning. We were going down over water. And Bethune shoved me out. She saved my life. Not hers, mine. So thank you for bringing her in.
Now you brought in. I used to think that giving up meant a lack of character. But you and I, we gave up so much to be here. And now I realize that giving up can be a sign of strength, commitment to something bigger than oneself. Giving up made me understand what we're really doing here.
Give up who they used to be. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it, Rick. It is up to us, but not like Okafu said. He was never really here. Not in the way he should have been. That's why he died. But you lived. I lived. It's time to let go of his bullshit.
Whoa. I did not expect that.
Rick playing the game.
Look at that thing.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Wow, look at her place.
He wants to talk to you.
So he just likes going out to the fences and...
For fun, maybe.
This is it.
I never had to do my 6 for citizenship because I never really became a citizen. The end of the world and the beginning of the world. Our scientists haven't figured it out. Maybe they never will. But us, the other kind of dead ones, we have this. The sword that kills is the sword that gives life. And that's us, we're the sword. I alone decided the path ahead, and I alone want to feel the weight of it. But you're here, after everything. So I'll share some time with you. Maybe even ask you to carry some of that weight.
Before, earlier in the episodes, he didn't trust.
Yeah.
Now he's trusting.
Rick's gonna be like, would you mind not speaking in riddles, please?
Calm down, Michonne. You'll find it.
Oh, I like that shot where it's like her looking.
Gabriel. Hey.
And
remember that
the cat,
from
yeah.
one of their first meetings?
Yeah.
It's inside the cat.
Look at that. It is.
Just gotta put your hand up the cat's backside and.
Is that really all it is? I expected like a big dossier.
Probably nothing.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of...
I lied. Everything.
Oh,
Rick's wife,
man.
Alexandria, and destruction of them.
Yeah.
Yep, just rip it all
I
up.
was say the folks at home were probably pausing that.
Rip it all up.
Burn it.
And burn it,
Yep.
douse it with water right now, do whatever. Just
No, don't do that.
That's
don't
not
do
good
that.
enough.
They'll tape it all together, and then later on we'll get a picture of it taped together.
Yep.
We've seen this before.
Better call Saul. They did that.
I honestly would just put it right in the sink. Because it's all pen.
Yeah. Or flush it.
Just flush it, yeah.
Mr. Stokes, are you in there?
Oh, jeez.
Grab the wire. Yeah.
You got to finish it now, Michonne.
Yeah, you can't go back from
No.
this.
Can't go back, Bob.
This is so intense. I can't believe she had to do that. Oh, Jesus.
Put your gun on the table. That prosthetic with the blade. In front of me, away from you. I want you to reflect on your life. On all your lives, before and after. All the things you did before this moment. After this next moment, everything will change. What's the worst thing you did to make sure someone else survived?
Oh, Shane! Oh, this is so cool seeing all these flashbacks. That's the scene
She's gonna
right
do
there.
sport.
I killed someone with my teeth.
You've made some extraordinary choices, Grimes. I've given this briefing, the echelon briefing, 2,533 times.
So he's got 2,500 soldiers.
This is the first. A day completely about tomorrow.
I missed you so much.
I know.
Are we crazy?
Certified.
Oh,
Why are they giving us flashbacks?
The same day my alcoholic father broke my jaw. I left home and landed a job at a VFW. And those men and women at the VFW, they became my real parents. So when I was 18, I signed up to fight. I could have let the world take me away, but I came back like you.
now you gotta follow the white rabbit.
Yeah, Michonne. Oh, there's a...
Why are we getting so many flashbacks of our heroes?
You said you saw what the federal forces did at the beginning.
Okafor said that they called it clearing disease vectors.
Vectors, yeah. Their word. I made the decision to take them on ourselves. Second Civil War fought on good Pennsylvania ground. There were two fronts, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and we were losing. We had an opportunity of terrain, tactics, and a massive incoming dead mass that the federal forces were unaware of. So I evacuated our forces under the cover of night and let the dead overwhelm their troops and that whole city. I saved Philadelphia by sacrificing Pittsburgh. My enemies, my friends, my home.
My dad taught me, for better or worse, sometimes things have to burn to bring things back.
Oh, here we
It
go.
was that. The sword that kills is the sword that gives life. I killed my past and a whole city so another could live. Let me tell you the first secret, Grimes, the first one that I share with each frontliner I briefed. The most likely outcome after all the fighting and killing, all the plans and sacrifices, we lose. Most likely outcome is that we're all gonna die.
Maybe. Probably.
Probably.
The child evacuation protocol.
So we were born this way.
Oh.
I guess so.
We've discovered million-strong dead masses out there. People now have 14 or so years left on this planet.
Oh.
Could be quicker.
Got
And
an
it isn't
actual
just the delts, it's
countdown.
starvation, tenuous balance between population and yield, disease with a billion petri dishes out there. And in the end, the most likely outcome is that this rock will be cluttered with corpses to eventually rot into food for the trees. This is why we do what we do. We're trying to beat the odds, Grimes.
With CRM frontliner embeds living in Portland under false identities, we have over years had operatives enmeshed in the Portland school system to facilitate an evacuation of selected children.
CRM destroys communities for resources, for strategic superiority, and to ensure the city's secrecy.
Once the operation on Portland begins, children will be airlifted away from 3 school sites. It will result in an evacuation of possibly 10% of the children in the city before the area is gassed and its population is liquidated.
90% of them aren't going to make it.
In the city?
Holy shit.
Up until recently, we supplied test subjects for scientific experiments to CRM-run labs.
Yep.
Omaha didn't just die, we destroyed it, along with its campus colony. And in 18 hours, we will take our final action to leave us as the supreme force on this continent, maybe the world. We will destroy Portland.
We tell the Civic Republic what the CRM does, like the bombing, whatever else they do. You don't leave people behind.
This is the shit we do.
This is the shit we do.
We will report as another tragic, mysterious, shocking incident. Stakes are too high for freedom. With the city under CRM control and our alliance partners dead, we will march across this country and further eliminate any growing competition. We will take their resources and ensure supremacy.
That was Fear of the Walking Dead shot.
Yeah.
Ah,
Look at all the shots.
Oh, wow. Throwback there.
The children will not see or hear what is happening to the city. Do not give in to the trauma that children will experience.
I'll fly us to jump points for the refuels they won't expect. Anything changes on base, key the walkie.
There we go.
I'll get back to you when I can.
If I can be gotten back to.
You expecting a call?
That was Thorne. She went through this, thought it would be good to talk it out.
Soldiers should put the children's focus on the comfort items we'll furnish them with. Just say they will be okay.
RJ. That was RJ.
After all the escape attempts to right here, now, I think that the next leader in the next decade, that might be you. You found yourself free, dead to us. You could have gone wherever it was you wanted to go, and you came back. You've become a powerful story. Powerful symbol, one the CRM may need to tell to win the hearts of the people who will see some of their freedoms delayed yet again. Who's the person closest to you who's died in all of this?
Oh,
Well,
pick one.
there's a list.
Carl, Lori.
But Carl's
My son.
number one. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be his son.
He's who I saved, tearing out that man's throat.
But you couldn't save him in the end.
No.
What if I told you you would never have to suffer that kind of loss again? You could keep them safe. You could bring them to us.
Whoa.
Family, friends, a love. I don't give a damn. They will be spared from our march whenever we would have found them.
All of Alexandria?
I'm taking that chance on you. We will begin our march on the countryside. The next world will begin. And through that, we will burn things to bring things back. The sword that kills is the sword that brings life.
Keep saying that.
Got to say it enough times. Believe it.
Swear on the sword.
Swear on a sword.
This is the moment.
Oh.
No!
Oh.
Right in there with the glass windows.
You could have saved whoever you wanted to and then saved the world.
That's right. Rick's got some moves. Ah! Oh.
I never lost my son. I lost myself. We're the sword that kills. We're the sword that gives life. One life. One unstoppable life. We're not dead.
Oh.
Oh! You are.
You are.
That's some throwback looking Rick Grimes right there.
Yeah.
Season 5, Super Grimes.
Oh, sweaty and angry.
He's like,
Yeah,
now
yeah,
what?
Yeah, there's
And now what?
it's time to go. You just took out Beale.
Yeah.
Thorne, it's Grimes. Over. I got the briefing. We'll talk later. Bill went to the woods to be on his own before the old hands. Over.
Do you want to meet now? Over.
No. Bill gave me something to do already.
Why are you breathing so heavy? Over.
Oh, there you go. Mix it in with all the others.
Oh, shit.
Hope there's room for one more.
We got Bane walking into the elevator.
They look like they're breathing real heavy, too.
Oh, no.
That thing's not watertight.
Rick, drop the hammer.
That guy won't notice.
Gotta do it.
Oh, okay. I love the tension. I just love it. And I love how they're adding that into the
Yep.
floor, like time is building up.
And the music.
Oh, yep. Of course he looked down before he gets off the elevator, because why wouldn't he? Uh-oh, headlock.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Oh, and it's closing.
The elevator's closing.
Rick just lost a lot of blood there.
He's got that metal hand.
I was just, oh,
all right. Yeah, that
There
guy's
you go,
done.
Rick. Yeah, he's done, Rick.
Rick!
Oh,
oh. Okay.
Do you know what they're gonna do?
I got the echelon. How
An
did you?
entire tent of bombs out there. They're evacuating the kids. Then it's the whole city of people, Rick.
We can still get home, but not yet.
Look at
We
his
have to
face.
stop them. What's in it?
Well,
Who's in it?
What are you up to, Grimes?
oh, bye, Thorne.
see you
What time's
later.
next?
How'd you come up with this?
Took some inspiration from the genius known as Nat.
We could just go. This is.
What we have to do. What sort of world are we making for them if we walk away from something like this?
I'm mad at the time I missed. Not seeing our kids growing up. I just want to go back.
How come you're not telling her about the 14-year estimate?
Yeah.
We are back.
The shit we do.
Guys,
Oh, man, this is going to get messy, isn't it?
The box with Beale in it? No, it's his hand.
Why would he leave that?
Why would he not have it?
I don't like that. He better still have something.
So they're going to take out all their firepower along with everyone there. Has he got anything on his...
Right now, I'm not... No.
Why would he not have it?
I don't like that writing decision there.
Are they trying to imply he
smart.
forgot it?
No, it's him saying I'm done with CRM.
But
I didn't like that.
Mandates remain in effect for decision. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie.
I mean, they're not even done with the mission. Rick is smart enough to know that he's going to need that.
right. And why would he leave any clues behind?
It's not even a clue. It's just a tool.
Yeah, Rick's smart.
I should be scared. Standing here, I should be scared, but I'm not.
I have something for you.
Fancy hard document.
Sword for Beale.
Walker Beale.
Oh, I like that shot. That was nice.
But if I argue for her, they'll think I'm emotional, indebted. You gotta make sure she stays. She's not gone.
Oh, he's going to pull the pin.
Yeah, he's going to be the trigger.
I don't know if I trust that. What if they didn't get far enough to pull the pins?
Where's Beale? What did you do? Take off your helmets.
We got to get out of here.
Put your bag down.
Just had to leave that hand behind, didn't you, Rick?
You're going to turn around, and you are going to undo whatever you did.
About that.
And when I find Beale, you are going to regret this.
These two are accepting their fate.
Nah. They can get out.
I don't know. Those things are going to go. They can't run away far enough. We're going to lose our heroes.
This way.
Oh, it's because it's chemical, not necessarily explosions. Oh, it is.
Oh, I mean, they had all the grenades. There was definitely explosions.
But and then all that gas.
Yeah, they have all that gas.
And now walkers everywhere.
It breaks up quick.
She's got a mask. I'll rush her. You get the other mask.
Why you?
You got the sword.
Oh, man, your eyes would just be burning.
Rick's taking on Thor.
You destroyed the whole world!
You come back here and you just destroy everything.
Sooner or later, his strength's going to run out.
Yeah.
Well, this is a problem, too.
A very big problem. Oh, good thing you left that hand behind.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have that.
I swear to God, if there's a ninja bite...
Oh, I'm going to be upset. Maybe he's using it for cover.
There better not be a ninja bite, dude. How many times have we seen that? Yeah. Especially AKA Carl.
Yeah, but he's got all that protective gear on. The only place you can get him is on his head.
It's The Walking Dead, dude. They'll magically make something happen.
I didn't give up. I didn't give me up like you did.
Come on, Michonne.
In a dead world, love is dead. Love doesn't die.
I was gonna say, I thought she was gonna kick it up with her foot. No!
Bye, Thorn.
You better give her
get
one
the
more.
mask. Get the mask. Get the mask.
Giving me vibes of episode 1.
Oh no! Come on!
Okay.
Okay.
So the one thing I'm gonna let go is that.
Yeah. I'll let that slide.
Yeah, get the mask and then check for frickin' bites, please.
Uncle Four is right. They have to hope. Deal was wrong.
Oh, we still gotta get out of here.
I'm so worried about these ninja walker bites.
Yep.
Ninja bites. I'll just say ninja bites. Because clearly they're not ninja walkers.
No. I was gonna say there should be plenty of weapons around, given all the soldiers. Oh God, he's only got one hand. You can't climb.
See, and they all had his legs. And please just check for ninja bites.
Oh, it's clearing.
With the CRM's frontliner force and the CRM force command.
Are they gonna do a shot
Major
like
General
season
Jonathan
1?
Beale, all casualties of the incident connected with the shocking revelations.
That's how they ended season 1 right here on the tank.
The CRC voted unanimously for emergency oversight over the remaining forces of the CRM. Command hierarchies and layers of operational secrecy indicate infantry units did not participate in the atrocities perpetrated by these highest levels of the CRM. Vote by the CRC, overturning CRM guidance. Free movement has been established for the Republic. Citizens are now free to leave at will, and the city will now welcome new citizens as they may arrive. With oversight of the military now in the Council's hands, the CRM's priority has shifted beyond the CR's defense.
They changed it that quick?
Assist, and even airlift any survivor or community they may encounter.
She had the gun.
Oh.
She had the gun. She's wearing the boots.
Would have been nice to have that metal hand.
Can we? Judith has to be looking at Rick here. Can we please get a shot? They're just gonna keep ignoring Rick.
I knew it, Dad. I just never wanted you to feel alone.
I thought I was. Then I realized I wasn't.
You got him back?
You told me to.
You're the brave man?
I am. But maybe you could call me Dad.
I knew you'd come back.
How?
I believed.
Oh shit!
Bringing in supplies.
Oh
Supplies,
shit!
yeah, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. I don't think there's a season 2, guys.
I think I might be with you.
Wow, guys. So I'm gonna jump.
Go for it.
So, first off, a lot of emotions I'm feeling right now. So I want to first thank Scott, Andy, and I for giving the fans something for these two, something for The Walking Dead to feel the Rick Grimes, Michonne again, because it's been a while that we've had the characters back. So thank you for bringing it back, even though it was 6 episodes for now, or I don't know what the future holds, but thank you for these 6 episodes. Thank you. I'm conflicted, but yet somewhat satisfied with what we got here. And first off, let me tell you how wrong I was about that being RJ. It looked like, I swear it was a young photo of the actor of RJ compared to what he is now. Either way.
Michonne's reaction to that.
Yeah, and I get it because they wanted it to look almost
similar,
identical. So Michonne has those feelings. So I was 1000% wrong. So just want to get that out of the way now. I'm sure people already have their comments in there. You idiot! How could the CRM get RJ? They'd be dead already, you idiot. But with this episode, it was still good, but it felt incredibly fast-paced, which is what I was worried about for some of this. Again, these 6 episodes have been out of the park good. This plan came too quick. No impact of Beale until the end when he started giving us, information on the echelon.
Yeah, what they were going to do.
I feel like how built CRM is, it would have took probably, now this is just me, I'm sure everyone's going to feel different on this, but I feel like that plan should have took almost 2 full episodes minimum to execute. It was just too easy for Rick and Michonne to kind of go in, especially, and I'm not saying they're like a high-powered government, where everything is security detailed, but they've given at least me that given me that idea that things should probably be a little bit harder, especially the way Jadis always talked, especially the way they kind of laid out some things. I just feel like it was probably a little too easy and a little too quick. I would have loved to have more Beale throughout the season because there was really no impact of General Beale at all up until the debriefing of the plan. Then that's where his impact was, and then boom, gone. So it was like, probably could have used a little bit more of him. And it probably, to be honest, now looking at it, we probably could have used a little less Thorne because I think the expectation was she was going to be gone at some point. But I get what they had to do with Thorne. Totally get it. The interesting ending there, again, satisfied. I'm pretty much satisfied. But this can't be the end of the line for Rick and Michonne. Maybe for their complete series of just them, that's probably, I'm fine if they say, hey, no more just Rick and Michonne. But now we're going to start sprinkling them into Dead City or Book of Carol, Daryl Dixon, however that plays out, right? Whatever show they end up making for another spinoff, whatever that may be. We need a Rick and Daryl moment for sure before they decide to call it quits on everything Walking Dead. And I understand, we had to have the family moment. But Daryl and Rick's relationship, I'm pretty sure probably the majority will agree on this, has been with us forever, almost, right? Since at least, I believe episode 3.
2 or 3.
Episode 3, I think, is when Daryl came walking in the way he did. I could be wrong on that episode. It's either 2, 3, or 4, one of them. So I would love to see a Daryl reunion before they kibosh and end the series, whenever that may come. So I hope we get that. I hope we actually do get a reunion of all the characters that are still alive and see how they interact in the community. And I hope that if that day ever does come, I know Gimple has mentioned, we have plans, just a matter of if they come to life. So if we're going to have like an Avengers style episode, I hope if that does come, there is no fast pace around it. Give us some time to have some dialogue between characters. Let us have some time to breathe and take it in instead of shot. Oh, and so I hope that day comes. With the end here, with a story too of CRC, CRM. I did like how they were giving us that bit of info, and you could probably argue that was fast paced too, but I get it because at the end here they have to give us that information to let us go off on our happy fairy tale here. So I get why they did that. It's cool to hear that. Now I'm just wondering how World Beyond characters are going to be. I wonder how the Fear the Walking Dead characters are going to be now. Again, there has to be some giant bow on everything here because Morgan's looking for Rick. So we got to see that too. I want to see Daryl, Rick, and Morgan coming to fruition here. And then, okay, I'll end here so you guys could get into. I'm pretty sure now, if you guys remember when Carol had that little blip talking to Daryl of is back. I got to imagine now they're talking about Rick and Michonne.
I would think so.
So I guess we'll find out in the Book of Carol coming in the summer. Maybe.
Yeah, I think just to piggyback off that real quick, Dave, that was the same question I had with how are all these individual stories going to line up, because it seems like they've been a little reluctant to give us real hard time frames as to like, okay, Daryl is this far in, Maggie and Negan are this far in, World Beyond is this far in, Fear is this far in. Like, in terms of where all the years line up and what timelines we're at, it's real blurry there. I mean, again, we just don't know where everyone is at in their story and where things are happening. I think you could maybe go and kind of piece things together a little bit, but like, look, there's still so much unanswered, which I guess is good. I mean, we still have the issue of the variants that are out there and how that's going to get dealt with. And there's just a lot more story to tell, time frames. If you do want to have like an Avenger style come together, like I said, I don't know where everybody is at. So that's kind of all my thoughts for the future as to where the show might go with this series and this episode in particular. I loved all the callbacks they had to all the different seasons.
So awesome.
I don't know about you folks at home, but I can kind of remember where I was and where I was sitting and where I was watching for some of those iconic shots that they saw. So I think we all had to think some of that was coming. I didn't expect as much as we got, which I'm completely happy about, that they gave us so many callbacks to the things our characters were going through. It also made me a little bit nervous that we might lose Rick and Michonne, because the show does have a tendency to do that, so that made me nervous, but I did like the way it was done.
Yeah, real quick, I want to jump in before I forget. With all the callbacks, at least for me, in my head, I'm like, oh man, one's going to get taken out here. I mean, they keep doing the flashbacks, and sometimes in this show, which you've all seen, is they do that, and then someone's gone. So right. I was really happy that they all survived, which is great. And like you said, so much story is untold, which is great because it does present more opportunities for, I guess you could say this is more of a complete story chaptered for them. So,
yep. Yeah, and the other couple of things. Look, it's classic Walking Dead. Whether it's Rick inside a tank, Glenn under a dumpster, just pick your situation that happens to work out. The fact that Rick left his prosthetic in his room like that, front and center for everybody to see. I didn't like it, but I can let it go because it served a greater part of the story. To me, Rick would probably not do that, just because if he gets seen by anybody, one, they're like, hey, Rick, where's your hand? And then two, he's just, again, leaving breadcrumbs for anybody else to find him, more specifically Thorne.
Well, like Dave said, it's a tool.
Exactly.
And in the apocalypse here, I have to imagine with the way we've seen Rick over the years, he's smart enough. Why would you leave a tool that was custom made behind?
Right.
Yeah, to that point, look, I think this episode overall was great, but that really bothered me a lot. I understand if he left it by because he's concerned. Like, look, everybody has the same uniforms. Their faces are generally covered up unless you get very close. So, look, missing a hand is a pretty clear standout, but let's say he walks with his hands behind his back or tucked or something like that. He'd be able to move a little bit more undetected as people not automatically knowing right away that it was him. Obviously, with the fake hand, It's a one-off.
Yeah.
So if anybody had seen the hand, they would have known it was him. So he'd maybe be able to disguise it.
But even
but
then-
any capacity that he would have been able to disguise having a nub behind the hand, whatever, he would have been able to hide the hand.
Yep, that was my thought.
The other
as
thing
well.
is he also has a backpack on him, which made it very clear that he had his bag on him. He would have put the hand in the bag. It's a very utilitarian tool. He can hit with it. He can smash with it. It has a fold-out knife. There's zero chance. And I think it was a great episode. I love the show. There's zero fucking chance he leaves that thing behind, especially with a fold-out blade. And you can punch with it.
And the way he used it in the elevator.
These guys are being a little bit light on it. Look, it was and look, I shouldn't. I'm sure the writers are gonna be like, "Oh, it was symbolism. He's leaving it behind." So what? It was a tool that was made for you that can help. And in this world, you don't. Well, they gave me. Let's say it was something other than his hand. Oh, when I signed up with the CRM, they gave me this really cool Rambo knife that had, the fishing string and the matches in the handle and the serrated blade and all of it, and a fire starter. But you know what? I'm gonna leave this back because this is symbolic of this. No bullshit. You fucking take it with you. That was a really shitty look, and I'm sorry. That was a shit piece of writing. Oh, well, what if we had a shot where and this is what they were fucking saying in the room, right? Yep. Like, I'm hot right now. What if we did the shot where it was like on the counter and like we pulled back and that was symbolic of him leaving it behind? He wouldn't have left it behind. Why not leave your suit behind or your helmet or your fucking
not leave
armor?
a note saying what you're
whatever.
doing?
That all being said, and it put him in a predicament because all of a sudden, I'm just left with a fucking nub. How nice would it have been to go home and have your cool hand? Fuck.
Yep. Now they'll have to make another one like they made for Aaron. But and real quick before I jump off here, the other one that I can let go is Rick pulling the hand grenade on all the walkers around him. I didn't see where he pulled it from. Now, granted, he had two walkers in front of him to kind of protect him a little bit. But again, another Walking Dead thing where, a guy will survive that, but somebody will get ninja bit by a walker doing something ridiculous, and then the character's written off.
So let's say
that's where I take issues with how sometimes people
you
survive.
wouldn't have. You wouldn't have pulled it. I don't look. We've all seen the jump on the grenade, right? If you jump on the grenade, it impacts your internal organs. It causes splattering, but you protect the blast, or the blast. Your body will protect the blast of the people around you. Now, if he had two, if we're fighting here. And he's facing here, and Dave's got a grenade on him, and I pull this one, you'd think the blast would protect him. That being said, pulling a grenade 2 feet from you was still an incredibly risky move, and I get like people are probably, Oak, he had no other option. You're right, because the blade hand that he could have been turned in was left in the room. That all being said, look, I did like the episode. I'll agree with Dave that it felt a little hurried, but I think the writers probably faced a very difficult challenge with this whole storyline because, honestly,
the writers are Rick or Andy, Denai, and Scott.
And Scott.
So,
When I say the writers, I mean I'm sure there's a team. They face a very big challenge. Like, I don't want to completely, I just needed to get my frustrations off my chest first.
Those two big things.
I needed to get that off my chest. That being said, I think they faced a big challenge in, this is a story that's been being told for 14 years now, okay? This story has been told for 14 years. And how many episodes over how many seasons could they have ran this? And I think it's just how long do we want to make this? They could have made it 10 episodes, but this, we would have been this probably should have been broken into 2 seasons, They could have made it 2 seasons. Well, they could have done a part 1, Rick and Michonne meet, a part 2, everything that's going on in the CRM, and then season 3 kind of shows their exit. I mean, realistically,
trilogy season.
There's a lot of different ways you could have exited this, and I think this was pretty well done. I love the shot of the family at the end. We had talked a lot about whether is there going to be a season 2. I don't feel like there's a season 2 after this. I feel like that is your tidy bow. Is this the brave man? You can call me dad. I mean, if that's not putting a bow on this whole story, I don't know what is. And I liked it. I liked the way they did it. Was it a little hurried? Yes. How do you take out an entire CRM? The gas with the explosions, I think, was a good call. It kind of was a little bit of payback for what happened to Nat and their crew. I thought it was great writing that the CRM here you have the Civic Republic, and look, this isn't something that we haven't seen in other countries and across the globe, where you have a government, and inside the government you have a military, and certain military forces want to take over and do things their way. This is not an unheard of situation. We've seen it in other countries. Luckily, it hasn't happened here in the States. But in any regard, it was a plot that was very realistic. They wanted to take the military over. They wanted to run things their way. The fact that they were going to take out Portland, we learned that they took out Omaha. Is like, I don't know. And Beale in his head is like, well, these are the sacrifices we have to make. And I took out Pittsburgh to save Philadelphia. And it's like, I don't even know if we call it the ego or the arrogance or what you call it to
all the above.
All the above, to say that you're the person who gets to decide the fate for everybody else. This is what's best for everybody else. I know what's best. We know what's best
for business.
And we just need to do what we need to do, regardless of how many people are lost. And I thought that was really brilliant writing. So again, I know I came in hot with the hand. The grenade bothered me much less than the hand, actually, because logistically, maybe. But all in all, given the time frame, look, could have done 8 episodes, could have done 10, could have done 2 seasons, could have done 3, and as long as it was done well, I think Walking Dead fans would have been happy. I agree that I would like to see some sort of reunion of sorts with the other characters. I don't know where the timelines line up in the other stories. We love Daryl Dixon, of course. That got announced for a second season.
Yeah, they've been so fuzzy with
summer.
Yeah, I mean,
so fuzzy with timelines.
So it's like we don't really know. They did give us the is back, and it's like, okay, Rick is back. So I think if let's say they run one or another season of Daryl, and they somehow work everybody in, and then they put a bow on the whole thing. At the end of the day, this has been going on for 2010, correct? Mm-hmm. And I actually do remember when the premiere happened, because I turned it off. I was on a date in Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Well, before you get into your story here real quick, I just want to wrap up my points here that I want to get out.
I wasn't even close to being done. He's got more notes.
This guy hijacked me. Real quick, that I'll jump into. Let's get Oak into his flashback here. I thought the plan, it seemed relatively too easy for Rick and Michonne to pull off. They were so worried about everything happening. We were told Beale was this like omnipresent overlord that sees all and knows all. And in the end, I didn't really get that out of Beale, because he had so little screen time. He wasn't a threat to me the way the governor, the way Negan was, the way
Alpha
was, even the way Gareth was back with the Terminus.
Gareth.
Because we didn't have the time with him. So it's like, how can I get invested in Beale and his story and everything? To me, he was just like cannon fodder to get to the next level. Like, okay.
Thorne had more of a...
Thorne was more of a threat,
presence.
And we had more character out of her. So to me, I just didn't get the investment out of Beale, which is no slight to Terry O'Quinn, who's an amazing actor. I just don't think they gave him the time to shine. So that, with a relatively easy plan that was done in 5-10 minutes of screen time, and then with the final episode that felt a bit rushed, it was a good episode. It was a great episode, a good tie up to everything, but it just seemed like we were running out of time and we were up against the clock, and the thing had to be rushed. I mean, Thorne could have easily taken out Rick and Michonne at any point, had him dead to rights. And the thing that I did like, Dave, that I'll tie in with you with that, the way there was no security and Rick and Michonne were able to move relatively easy. Well, we did see all the soldiers were at the big meeting that they were having, so that's relatively feasible. Fair. You think there might be some military police or some random security, but again, how complicated you want to make the story. I think at the end, you just have to show that Rick and Michonne made this choice to go do what they were going to do. They pulled it off because they can do anything. The whole world can be theirs. And then it all worked out. We got the flight home. I don't know how you can ever wrap up this series unless it ends with like civilization being rebuilt and everybody's happy, because there's always going to be another threat. There's always going to be another something, somebody scheming, plotting. So we'll see how this all ties in to the other stories That being said, I don't know about you folks, but the timelines in this give me a headache, so I'm going to have to get like a dry erase
Real
board
quick,
or
too,
something.
on the security presence. Thank you for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me on the, the soldiers being there. But still, it's the CRM. It's not like, hey, tell the guard on Tower 2 that he needs to be here.
Yeah, we're pulling all security.
We're not worried about security for this meeting here. You can't tell me that they would just totally abandon their security protocol just for that meeting. Right. So that's why, to me, it felt like it was just too easy. Now I get we probably saw less traffic in the center of the base. That makes sense. But like for the perimeter and stuff like that, you can't tell me that they'd be pulling all their security detail for.
But is that not classic Walking Dead? I mean, the governor chasing down Andrea, he just somehow finds her in the middle of the field driving around in the truck. I mean, that's classic Walking Dead.
Yeah, so I agree with you on the point of the security thing. It felt like if you had that much gas and whatever, there would have been people posted at the position. I mean, it felt like there was a couple opportunities that were like, we'll just make it easy for them. I am going to disagree a little bit on the Beale thing, and my reasoning why is it feels like the CRM was supposed to be the bad guy, and we've seen in Walking Dead, like, dude, Negan was how many seasons, and then the governor was the bad guy, and I felt like it would have been a little bit repetitive if all of a sudden we have another like main antagonist, like the almighty bad guy plotting and scheming Beale, and it was like, I think it was supposed to be about the CRM, and he was representative of the head of that. Does that make sense?
No, 100%.
They've made like, and I agree with you totally. For as integral to this whole thing as Beale was supposed to be, I feel like another season of screen time with him, more backstory on him. I'm surprised they didn't give us a flashback of Beale in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
I mean, 3/4 of his time was talking in riddles to Rick.
Yeah, so to your point, that's totally 100% understand that. But they didn't, and I'm not saying they had to give us, shove Beale down our throat. It was just, he's here with the 2-3 lines. He's here with 2 or 3 lines. I'm just saying I wish I would have got a little bit more character development to feel.
And that I agree with that. We could have had more time, but I'm almost glad that they didn't set him up as the next main bad guy, because it's like, okay, this is wash, rinse, repeat. Like,
yes,
they're going to come into a new place, and there's going to be somebody, and that's going to be the bad guy, and then the whole thing is going to be Rick taking out the bad guy, and then they move, and here comes Alpha, and here comes the governor, and it's just been like that over and over. Where look, and I don't think that's necessarily bad writing, because I think that's realistic of what you might face. You're going to have groups, you're going to have leaders, you're going to have nasty people, and you're going to kind of along the way run into them. But of course, the big three: Negan, the governor, and Alpha. Then of course you can add in Gareth.
Yeah, you got your like A tier.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
Virginia.
Yeah, and I think that had
the English teacher.
I think that had just been done already, where if they would have put him as like you know what I'm saying, like him.
Well, and I didn't want him as like necessarily the big baddie. I just wanted to see more
character
because he was in what?
Yeah.
Two episodes, 3 episodes.
And I think the thing that the biggest point that I agree with you on that for is I'll always remember him as John from
I still need to see Lost.
From Lost.
So now it's going to be General to me. And
where his character is very dynamic in that show, but it's like. And that came out 15 years ago. And it's like the dude doesn't look like he aged, and they give him a beard, and all of a sudden he kind of goes from like this like shy kind of nice older guy to like this total like badass military dude. And I'm like, what a dynamic actor! And like they cast. Yeah, what about that guy? Really, the guy John from Lost? He's gonna be the badass. But hang on. We're gonna give him a beard and a beret. Sold. Yeah, I think he did great. But just with my points. That I think I was making earlier is, and I know this is cliche, but all good things have to come to an end. And I mean, if you think about TV shows, like some of the most popular of all time, of course, if you're older like us, MASH, when our parents, MASH, the helicopter flying off at the end.
For our parents, not us.
I mean, but I remember that being impactful as a kid, a TV series coming to an end. When Sopranos ended, I wasn't even watching it at the time when it ended. But when you have these big series, when Seinfeld ended, I mean, you have
Breaking Bad.
You have all these big series that ended. And I don't know a lot of them that had 14-year runs. I mean, Cheers is another big one, and I'm really aging myself here, and I'm sure everybody can think of a lot of them. Even the original Game of Thrones ended. What are they at 7 or 8 seasons there, and now we're getting spin-offs. But hey, this is the end of the series. And when you think about like your age and how much time you invest in a TV show, look, if you're 40 years old and they've been running it too, okay, I'm 44. Okay, 14 seasons. This is quite literally 1/3 of my entire life. A third of my lifespan I've been following Walking Dead. I didn't watch it that first night. And just a real quick story if you haven't heard it. I was on a date and we were flipping through the channels and it was Rick riding through the city on the horse. And I remember distinctly, we pulled up the description and it said something about zombies or whatever. I'm like, nah, pass. So the first episode I was on a date, we pulled up the whatever, nah, and skipped it. Of course, I think 6 months later or whatever, when everybody was hyping it up, I got into it very early before I believe the second season came out. It's hard to remember, but in any regard, I don't think there's ever truly a spot where you can make people happy. There's that. It's almost like the star athlete retiring. Do you go out on top with a bang, or do you try to squeeze a few more years out of it? And maybe when you finally decide to hang it up, the last few weren't the best. There's really no right answer, and so I agree that this felt fast for Rick and Michonne, but I
still satisfied.
I think and like I said, I know I came in hot with the hand, but I think overall, if you look at big picture, they have to tell a story, they have to wrap it up, they have to give you an end scene. As far as the end scene, it doesn't get any more perfect than that. He's there with Michonne and Judith and Audrey.
Coming in, a lot of supplies.
You see supplies coming in, so you get the idea that that the Civic Republic is now helping other communities. We knew earlier that Alexandria was in a rough spot. Okay, so he's back with his family. They're using their helicopters to help people. I think overall, the way they ended this, I'm very, very happy with it. I just wish Rick had his hand.
Agreed. And I'm fine with if you're going to end it the way you're going to end it, but then stop making loose ends. Like, if you want to end the series, then you got to start chopping these loose ends off so you can build to an ending. To me, there's still all this stuff going on, and they decided to end this chapter, at least for now,
well,
I think, far as we know. But there's still so much going on, and you still have so many questions. Whereas, like, when you end a show, whether it be Sopranos, Game of Thrones, whatever, everything kind of builds to that point of it ending.
Yeah.
With this, I didn't really get that vibe.
And the one thing that I can't speak to the insides of Hollywood.
Wait, are you saying like The Walking Dead itself, or just these two?
With these two characters, I don't see how this is the end of their story when there's so many loose ends to tie up, whether it be Daryl, whether it be Carol, whether it be Morgan, whether it be the variants, whether,
one could, just to kind of jump off of what you're saying, some could view it as, well, this is their story, it's done. Daryl and Carol have their story, it's separate. Negan and Maggie have theirs, it's separate. So,
but then don't you think we have a coming together with those characters for a
that's what we should. That's what the fans
we should have.
Yeah.
But the point that I was going to make, that I think one thing that happens in Hollywood, especially with TV series, with a film, you're committing to shooting a film, whatever. Sometimes sequels might not work out. But I think we forget, sometimes with TV series, the actors have other commitments. Mm-hmm. They feel like the role has kind of, defined who they are as an actor, pigeonholed them. And look, I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Negan and everything, right?
Not a lot of change there.
He's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Rampage is prime example.
Yeah.
He's Negan in everything. Okay. But you wonder, and of course,
even when he's tough.
Stephen Young has done, he's been able to kind of branch out and stuff like that, and you hope the other characters will as well. And of course, Andy Lincoln and Denai obviously has a lot of other stuff. But that's one thing you always have to take into consideration is, hey, if they got this offer to do this and they think it's time to move on from this, sometimes I think the writers, and from a filming and just producing standpoint, they don't necessarily get the opportunity to have this clear, oh yeah, this person's gone now. You're like, wait, what? Or,
where's Heath?
Or, somebody like, Jeffrey Dean Morgan says, hey, look, guys, I got one more year of this in me. And then that's it. So you write accordingly. and I'm not saying this any as has happened, but I think as fans, we expect the fan service. And I'm 100% with Mason Quinn. It's like, we've been with this for 14 years. Can you kind of just, okay, here's Rick and Michonne, and I think Diamond Dave is right. Like, their story is kind of wrapped up there with the family. Now we got over here with Negan and Maggie. We got Daryl. And even if they end here and end here, it's like we still want to see it kind of all
we just want
together.
an Avengers. I think for most fans, an Avengers, because if you think about the end of The Walking Dead, they wrapped up pretty much all those characters except Daryl and Carol, which is still going. I mean, Ezekiel and Mercer, they're running Commonwealth. Eugene and Stephanie, they have a baby of their own. Gabriel, we were getting flashbacks here of Gabriel, but Gabriel's watching his and Rosita's kid, So those characters are pretty much done. The only, they left, I guess you could say Morgan and his daughter are kind of wrapped, and they left us to think, did he ever find Rick? Some of the other characters with Madison and Alicia, right? They kind of went off to, I think it was San Diego or back to the West Coast. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's been a minute since I saw the finale. But you could say, well, in Coleman Domingo, they all kind of got a bow on them with leaving it up to the audience to picture in their head of, make up your own ending. Subjective to you now. So really the only ones left from a technical standpoint are Negan, Maggie, Daryl, Carol. So again, I hope we get some kind of Avengers thing. But for this 6 episodes right here, I am satisfied with what they did for the 6 episodes right here for Rick and Michonne. Because again, having Rick Grimes back and having Michonne back was very, very satisfying to see them back on screen. And now I feel like I have a hole in my heart because we don't have any more Sundays to look forward to with these two. So for now. But and if this is it, again, thank you so much, because these
14 years.
It was so good.
14 years of Rick Grimes.
I mean, but that look, and I know we joke about that because it's just a TV show, but that's
an investment.
That's big. That is big, and
and especially those first couple of years where The Walking Dead was a phenomenon, and everybody was watching it Sunday night at 7 or 8, whatever it was. Everybody knew where they were.
And it was, and it's interesting because it's like you're like, oh, you don't know these celebrities and they don't care about you. No, but you're inviting them into your home. You're investing your time. You're investing in the stories, and it's like shit. A third of my life, I started watching this when I was 30 years old. Here I am, 14 years later, 44, and you look at how much different our lives are.
Still committed.
And we're still here and still putting this in. And I think a lot of time it's like people look at these actors and like, oh, they're just actors getting paid to put on a show, and it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of time and investment, and especially like, look, it's a big deal when TV shows come and go, and some of them don't have a big impact. Look, when Law and Order ends, we've been watching
it never will.
Been watching Law and Order since I was, however old.
Or just some sitcom on Fox
if they decide to end it, it's
CBS.
okay. But there's certain shows that when it comes to an end and people really invested themselves in it for an extended period of time, it hits hard. And if you're somebody who's been watching The Walking Dead for 14, we're gonna get close to 15 years. That's a long time, and you can become invested. So it might sound cheesy, overly dramatic to say thank you to actors and actresses and writers and stuff, but I think that's in order because they brought a lot of entertainment for all the people, and
people watch sports their entire life and have that same level of investment in a
and
team.
I think it's easy for people to criticize what they don't.
Or books.
Yeah, books. It's easy for reactors or critics or whoever to criticize the things they don't like, pick apart the writing and things like that, but at the end of the day, these people put in their time. They invested their careers in this particular series, and we got to be the benefactories of that. So I have no qualms about saying thank you for all the years to the writers, to all the actors, and it sounds so cliche to say it about a show, but fuck, it's been a hell of a ride,
Just
right?
hope we get one more run from Andy and Denai and the rest of the crew after we see Dead City 2 and Book of Carol coming up. So I hope we get one more run, and I want to see Morgan. I mean, he was first episode with Rick. Gimple, with all that stuff you've been doing with all these callbacks.
Oh, he's pointing at the screen.
I know you have something with Andy and Morgan coming into play where they meet one more time. I just don't. I know AMC's going to throw money at you guys. I mean, it's the only thing that's really bringing eyeballs to their network. So, AMC, do what's right. Stop claiming on our videos too, by the way, AMC.
We're doing you a favor. We're trying to get your publicity out there. Anyways, we'll have more publicity for AMC to come, assuming they bring us more Walking Dead. So for Diamond Dave Damone, that's the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. Andy, Denai, Scott Gimple, thank you so much.
Gimple.
This has been Bad Medicine. That was Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. We'll see you back for more Walking Dead content, hopefully.